All right. Let's make sure this is working. Because, okay. Looks like it's working. Looks like I'm looking at the stuff here. That was interesting, to say the least. Of course, like normal, got here a little bit later than I would have preferred, but there was a reason this time. I started loading my stuff up, and for some reason, not for some reason, I know exactly why, YouTube updated. They did an update because they love to do updates. YouTube can never be happy with the system that it has. It has to update like every month, and they have to change something that you're using, that you're used to, that you've got worked out. Well, they changed something again. And so I go in to do the stream. I hit the button, and everything looks different. And I'm like, okay, I see the setup. Let me see if I can't figure it out. I'm like, this is here, this is down here, this is over here. Oh, okay. Looks manageable. And then as soon as I start looking it over, I go, because I got to type everything into OBS. So I'm typing everything into OBS, and I get to the end, and I'm like, where's the stream key? And I start looking, and because they changed the format around, it's no longer where it was. And even though I found where the other information used to be that was right on top of, so it was like this, and it was always easy to find all the things you needed, it was gone. There was no stream key. So I was like, oh, crap. And then I started figuring, after I played with it for a while, I found it, and it was like in a window. But then I clicked on it, and it wasn't like a stream key like it normally is, where it actually shows you what the stream key is or whatever, because that's normally how I see it, is I see it and it's lined out, and then I click to copy it, and then I bring it into OBS and I cover it over. It didn't do that. It was different, and it just said stream key, and that was it. It didn't say anything else about it. And I'm like, how do I figure out what it is? And it was very simple, to be fair. Once I calmed down for a second, it took me like a minute of sitting there and being like, crap, I don't know where it is, to go, all right, hold on, take a breath, look it over. And then I got to look and I said, oh, I see, okay. Because I was thinking maybe I had to edit something or choose to do something myself or whatever. It was not that complicated. It was, that's the stream key. This is a thing right here. There's a little dot, and then there's those two boxes. And that's all it was. Like, so it wasn't nearly what I thought it was, but that set me back, kind of put me in here later than I would have liked to have been. So let's see. I got that working. So hey, what's going on? And the thing that we have to do, because I was messing with all that other stuff, so I didn't set this up to begin with. So let's set this up now, shall we? Oops. And we start with oh, okay. There, that'll start us off. Got Mystique and Emma Frost. Going to be an interesting show tonight if they get voted on. Yes, I did. I got both of them. I got both of them in. You just got Mystique as well. Yeah, she came in a couple of days ago, but I didn't get up here to actually do my stuff with it until literally today. Hey, what's going on, man? So, yeah, she is added to the show. Everything about her looks good in terms of that. Now, I will say, in terms of Mystique, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure she's a reissue. I'm pretty sure she's the one that we already got, and that's not me complaining or anything. I'm fine with that, actually, but I'm pretty sure that's what she is. And so she's not like a modern thing that we'll be talking about necessarily, but I do like one of the things that she came with, if I'm not mistaken as to what it is. Let's see, so far we are off. We have Star Wars and Marvel Legends playing against one another, and that seems to be working. This is up and running. I'm just kind of double checking things because the setup today was different because the update really threw it off. Like it was not what I was expecting, but it seems like everything's on track now, so I don't think we're going to have any problems. That being said, as normally I do a channel update of sorts, so let me click on this, go to my folder here. I do have another top 10 that's already filmed, and well, actually 2 more top 10s that are already filmed. I have the top 10 DC Multiverse that's going to be coming out. I have the top 10 DC Multiverse Batman that's going to be coming out. And I have some more of the chapter videos finally going up. I've been able to actually get in here and get some of that stuff done lately. So we are actually making progress. It's been slow, yes, I agree. Or, I don't know, maybe people don't care as much as I do. I feel like I'm way behind on the amount of stuff that I not only should have posted, but should have been posted in a certain way. Because to me, it feels like I should be getting these streams done, and then throughout the course of the week, post the chapters. But it, right now, during, all the holiday stuff and everything, it's a little more compacted than I would like it to be. It's busy, and it kind of slows me down and stops me from getting a lot of them done. But I am starting to get them done. They are starting to get done. I am starting to get pictures. I changed my format system, not in the terms of the way that we do the show, but in terms of the way that I handle certain things. For a long time, my system worked with, I would get in and do this live. Then after I did the live, what I would do is I would set the figures to the side. And then I would do the edit, and after I got the edit done for the chapter, I would set the chapter ready, and then I would set up a picture and take the picture of the figure, and then I'd piece them together and put them in. And at first, that didn't seem like it was a big deal. I was keeping up, and everything was happening right, so it wasn't bothering me. All of a sudden, I ran into a problem I wasn't expecting. Mild, but a problem I wasn't expecting, and it did actually hit me. I started realizing as I was doing the show, figures were piling up on the desk because I wasn't getting that part done, so I also wasn't putting the figures away, so I also wasn't figuring out my space and whatnot. Like you can see the turtle van finally made it up there and whatnot. That's because I finally started realizing that I had to change the way that I was doing it. So now I do this, and then like the next day, I take the 3 or 4 figures that we did, and I take the photos then to keep back for when I get the chapter part ready for them. That way I can put them away and kind of remanage my space and everything. Because you only have the space you have, and keeping them all up here was starting to become a problem where then I felt overwhelmed because I could see everything like piled up or whatever. And I was like, oh, how am I ever going to catch up? And then that would make me feel a certain way about coming in to do it. And then I would like trick myself into feeling like it was more work than it really is, because it's not as much as I was making it. But when I can see it piled up, and then I feel like it's kind of crushing in on me because it was taking up my workspace, that really made me feel a certain way. So I kind of had to walk that back and change the way that I was handling it. Now that I've got that in place, a new system, I don't think it's going to be a problem anymore. Because I've noticed that ever since I changed my format for how I'm handling my edits, I've been able to get in here and handle that stuff a lot better, and it doesn't feel daunting. Let's see, she's somewhat new. Granted, she's a previous version that was released. They updated her face and skin tone, and she's pinless. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I didn't realize that Mystique was overhauled. I thought that she was an older Mystique, because right now it's getting a little confusing with the Marvel Legends. I'll be honest. When it comes to Marvel Legends, we've now got very new stuff, kind of updated stuff, and stuff that's being re-released. And that's a lot of stuff that's like hitting the market, and it can be tough unless you're really on top of it to know exactly what it is that you're looking at. Oh, cool. That's a new, and I'll just use her as the example. Oh, a new Mystique. It's going to be a Target exclusive. I can't wait. I need a Mystique. I'd love to have a Mystique. And then you start thinking about it, and you're like, she looks a lot like the last Mystique that I saw. Is she new? And then, because of that, you go, maybe she's a re-release. I mean, right now we have other reissues, so maybe she's a reissue. That's not bad. Either way, I want her. And once I have her on the shelf, I'll be happy because I've been wanting a Mystique for quite a long time. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. And I bought her. And then I waited, and then she showed up. And because they went back to these kinds of boxes, you know what I mean? Like these, which I don't get me wrong, I prefer these. Could be just because of the time that I grew up. This is very much how toys are presented in terms of I feel the best way. So when these boxes came back, and now the reissues are also in these boxes, it started to kind of mess with me because like the Spider-Mans came out, and they're in that. So like when I got the J. Jonah Jameson, he's not new, he's a reissue, and he's in this kind of packaging. It threw me off. So then it starts to get a little, unless you're really keeping up, it can be tough to know, are you buying a reissue and that's going to screw you because down the line this is one that you would have waited for, or so on and so forth. You got to pay a little bit more attention now. Like, you got to definitely pay a little bit more attention than I have been. I noticed that. Yeah. So yes, that's what my thoughts were. But I do love, that's the other reason I kind of like to do these live as well, is because there's information that I probably don't have because we all live different levels of busy lives for whatever reason. And it's cool to be able to have people be like, no, she is an update. She's built off an old body, but she got the... See, I wouldn't have known that, to be fair. That would not have come to mind first off. Things happen. Yeah, well, thanks, man. Honestly. Hey, what's going on, man? By the way, did I pre-order the new Lizard? Okay. I did. Absolutely did. Like right off the bat, I nabbed him. And I thought, see, this goes exactly back to what we were just talking about. When I seen it, because of the head sculpt, I thought it was another reissue. Like, I thought for sure it was a reissue. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? I want that Lizard, so I don't care. But then it was almost as I was buying it, like literally as I was putting it down, that I was putting up the pre-order, I was like, I think this is new. Because then it hit me that the last Lizard that we got that would have been a reissue would have been the one with the first appearance face, holding like the beakers and stuff like that. So like, oh, like it's tough to keep up sometimes with everything that's coming out, especially if you do a bunch of multiple lines. Like if you have one focus point, it's very easy, but it can get rather simple to get confused right now with the reissues and everything kind of mixing into the area to know whether or not you're getting something new. But that Lizard, it was almost as I was pre-ordering him, I was like, wait, this is new, because I was seeing things on him that I didn't recognize, which is pretty cool. And I like both the heads. I think that's cool. I don't know which head I'm going to go with. I think I got to wait till I have it in my hands, but looks like a solid Lizard. And we're going to put it two ways here. One, his tail it's like segmented so that we can animate it, which is cool, but then it also makes you go, would it have been cooler to have a wireframe tail? Maybe. But big cheeks. Here's the problem with wired tails. is not the same monster as a wired cape. A wired tail, which if you have Dragon Man, you know what I'm talking about. You know what to talk about right now. Those are heavy duty. And sometimes you'll try to get them into the pose you want them for. And because there's so much rubber there and whatnot that it'll kind of re-straighten itself out over time, and you really got to play with it sometimes, or sometimes it just will not take the angle that you want because the wires inside are not strong enough, or there's just too much rubber, or whatever, it's too heavy. Like there's a multitude of problems with wired tails. Not that I'm saying that they're bad, but they can work against you, to be honest. And it's something that people really don't think about. Marvel Legends has one. Where segmented tails also have benefits, but also, same argument, they're restrictive. You're stuck with the segments of the tails that you get, and if those segments are not vast, maybe you have like 2 moving points, you can get some good ideas out of that, but you're then highly restricted to just how much you really can get out of it. So yeah, it's not perfect when you talk about these. Everything that they do is an option, and every option comes with its benefits and not benefits. And it just depends on how you feel about whatever figure you're getting. But he does seem to have a segmented tail, as far as I can tell, on this new lizard, which that might be beneficial, but I don't know. One could argue that it would have been real cool to have, especially now that we just did the Dragon Man and we did Shumagorath, and they both had fairly worthwhile, posable, like, wireframe. Should the lizard have got a wireframe tail? I don't know. That's hard to argue right now. So let's put this up. Okay, we have... Oops, there we go. I know he's up, he's ready. He's up and ready. That is set, and oops. I think those are the 4 that are currently sitting at the top of the pile. Thoughts on the Mezco TMNT 4-pack for $350. Okay. Because I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. First off, let me fix this actually. There. I'm actually working on something too. Hopefully after Christmas, we're going to be looking into a new camera for the show. And if it's what I think it is, because I've been seeing it on a couple different streamers, platforms, and whatnot, and they're using it, it could really up this show. Like, it could do some real favors. Like, it looks like a really, really good webcam. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it costs that much, and I think that I'll have the money to swing after Christmas. So we could be seeing a pretty big update to the show. Because if this new camera does what I think that it does, it could be really cool. It could be a real big bonus for the show in general. So, these turning the camera off to turn the camera back on to get the focus back and stuff should be a thing of the past soon, but we'll see. So, let's go on with that question. Thoughts on the Mezco TMNT 4-pack Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They look good. They look very good. I skipped them. But hold on. They're $350. Okay? They are based on the 1990s movie. The first movie. The best movie. Still, argumentatively, at least for me, I still put it in my top 10 best comic book movies ever made. That movie is better than it has any business being. I'm not kidding. And I'm not being like harsh against the movie saying Turtles don't deserve a good movie, but let's be honest about the era it was made in. and the circumstances behind comic book movies at the time. And we got that Turtles movie. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So good. Easily one of my favorite movies of all time. Not an exaggeration. And you take that, so they make these Mezco turtles off of that. Each turtle is under $100, which is not bad considering Mezco figures can easily be over $100 by themselves. That can easily happen with Mezco. So you got 4 turtles. They all cost less than $100, but they are bare minimum. Let's be honest about that, okay? They got hands, they got weapons, they got 3 heads. That's pretty much it. A couple of them have an effect piece, which is pretty cool. Like the spinning sai and the spinning nunchucks. Those are cool effect pieces. I really like those. Very simple, but sometimes you don't need anything more complicated than that. It's cool to have Michelangelo with the nunchuck spinning effect. That's really cool. It's very cool to have Raphael being able to spin the sai. That's very cool. One could argue, since we gave effects like that, you would kind of want to see like a brown blur effect, kind of like for the bow staff. We didn't get it, and I'm not going to cry about it. And we also didn't get like sword slashes like we got with is it BTS up here, Loyal Subjects? We didn't get those. I'm not going to cry about that either. Would have been cool, but it still works out for very, very much what we got. They look decent. Mezco did put its own spin on them. They're not what I'd call 100% movie accurate. If I have to give the most movie accurate, I still have to lean on NECA and say that the NECA movie turtles, they pretty much look like they pulled those guys off the screen. That's pretty much the best. But you could argue that these new turtles that we just got, these Mezco ones, even though they take a couple of liberties, I don't think it hurts them. In certain ways, you may even argue that it helps them. Like, honestly, it's kind of impressive if you want the truth of it. So, I'm not hating that at all, to be fair. Also, the minimalist release of these things keeps the price down. And right now, that's kind of important. If they're $100 turtles, we're looking at $400 before we even get into taxes and everything else. That's kind of harsh. So keeping them at $350, that's kind of nice. I simply do not have... I just don't have the funds. That's a big part of it. These turtles would have been cool, because there's another part of these turtles that really help as well. Turtles are small, so even though Mezco tends to run their 1/12 scale a little smaller, I don't think it would have hurt the turtles. Because arguably, even if they ran small, turtles actually are small. In all the main mythologies, except for things like Michael Bay, the turtles are always smaller than April. And April's not a giant Amazon, she's a regular woman. So the fact that the turtles are smaller than her, that means turtles are usually small. They're usually 5-something, like barely over 5 feet, like 5'4" or somewhere like that. They're not huge creatures, to be fair. That's fine. So that also helps them. The moving eyes. I don't know if I should consider that inclusion brilliant or too much. Like, how often am I going to utilize that? Is it worth it, or is it just extra engineering that we're paying for that we're never going to get any real access out of, and then we're just wasting our money? And these probably could, I'm being a little ridiculous here, could these have been brought all the way down to $300 if you didn't have to include movable eyeballs? Because that's like some 1/6 stuff. That's like high-end collectible stuff, which I've never really seen, except for maybe in a couple Gunpla where they have moving eyes. That's not a normal thing for figures at this scale. We got it. They're there. Did we need it? I don't know. I passed on these, but I passed on these out of funds this time. Realistically, had I been sitting on a random $400 or something like that, they may have got my money on this one, and I may have taken and just made another set of 4 up there, because they're very good figures. I was impressed, but those are pretty much all my first thoughts on them. I saw that we got this going on. What's going on here? It may be 16 days early, but here is your Christmas present. Merry Christmas, King Redley. Well, thank you. Thank you, sir. And I'm always, it is crazy to me how long. Was it a decade ago that we specifically called out you on the Train Rangers video? Was it that long ago? Was it a decade? Has it been that long? That is wild to me. It feels wild to me. Yes, I'd say that lizard looks fantastic. Did I see the Spider-Man 77 Marvel Legends and Mega Man Battle Network Grandista Mega Man EXE figure? Mega Man Battle Network. That type twice. That's fine. I did. I am not a huge fan of Battle Network. I do like Battle Network. Do not misunderstand my statement. But it's not my first choice to play Mega Man, ever. I think I kind of fall between where I sit. Normally, Mega Man X sits the littlest bit higher than regular Mega Man, but sometimes, depending on the mood that hits me, Mega Man is easily higher than X. But those are the 2 series that I enjoy the most. And then a lot of the side series, while I've played a lot of them and beat a lot of them and had fun for what it is, they never fall into my absolute must-get, must-have favorite Mega Man things. So, I seen it, but nothing about it makes me go, oh crap, I gotta get Mega Man. Nothing. And as for Spider-Man 77, I am a Spider Putz. I've already got him. He's back there. He's fantastic. Yeah, no, that's fine, man. I get it. I knew almost instantly that it had done that. Kind of. It's a Build-A-Figure. It's the Build-A-Figure version of the Lizard that was released 5 years ago. The one with the dinosaur head. It goes for $100 or more on the aftermarket. So it is basically a reissue. This gets complicated. It's a reissue, but it's not, because it's kind of like when they release a deluxe and you can actually just buy the Build-A-Figure and not have to buy a wave of figures that you don't like in order to get the one thing that you did like that you wanted to build. And then sometimes they get paint updates and whatnot, which kind of sometimes arguably can make them better or worse than that Build-A-Figure. And then sometimes we get a full update to the Build-A-Figure, like what we got with the Blob, where I would argue that the deluxe Blob built off that Build-A-Figure that we got, I think that's better than the Build-A-Figure. The Build-A-Figure is, and I get what they were going for, but the Build-A-Figure is kind of gnarly. They almost overdid the level of ugly that they were giving him, to the point where it kind of made him gross. Sometimes that's a benefit and sometimes it's not. But I like the more simple one that we have now. Not that I have it, but you get what I'm arguing. I think I'll be displaying mine with the Todd McFarlane head since I have the Maximum Spider-Man. They'll complement each other well. That's a good point, to be fair. There's something about the Raptor head that I like, but also something about that, the big, ugly head that I like too. So I don't know. I'm really going to fight with myself when I get it. TMNT heads look a little big for the bodies. I thought that, but to push back on that a little bit, not major, but to push back on it a little bit, they were, even in that movie, they actually did have big heads. I think it was a little less noticeable because when you were looking, you always kind of seen all of them, and you were so mesmerized by the big suit and everything like that that you didn't really think about it, but I think, and I'm being honest about this, I think the heads, if you actually sit down and watch that movie a little objectively, their heads are kind of big because they had to fit all the animatronics in there on top of a human head. And the turtles were small, like I'd mentioned. So, like, they did have these big domes, like, but I think they may have overdone it a little bit. And one could argue that they did that to get the moving eyes. But then, like I said, do we really need that? Is there a reason that we had to have the moving eyes? I don't know. Something about it, like, I get it, but yeah, I don't know. Hey, what's going on, man? What a funny coincidence. I was watching the 1990 Turtles movie before the show went live. Fantastic. Good. Let's see. Oh, yes, absolutely. Let's see here. It absolutely is. I agree. I agree 100%. I agree. I have it downloaded on my phone. I watch it all the time. 11,800 views November 25th, 2015. Stepping closer to completing the costume reviews. We are now on 2014's Reshra Sentai Tokuger. It's Tokuger, if I'm not mistaken, right? Tokuger? 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 Because I know the R is funny. I don't know if I've actually said that right, which has no Power Ranger version yet. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. 2015. It is 2025. Oh my gosh. A decade. It is crazy to me how long I have been doing this. Like, you wouldn't think so, because neither of my channels really ever reached, like, huge, like, you know, big YouTube star numbers. So you'd think I would have just given up and moved on. I guess it's a good thing that I never had it in my mind to, like, I never wanted to be like James Rolfe Huge or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, when we first started this, we kind of wanted to try to see what we could do with it. Then we got kind of bogged down in a bunch of crap. Then we got wrapped up in a bunch of other stuff. Then we started having a lot of fun with it. Then we stumbled on something that, like, took off, which was that Power Ranger review. And then after that, the whole show became that. And then we kind of tried to wind some of our other stuff into it and just keep ourselves moving. And then it got real fun, and it just plateaued hardcore. Like, there's like a golden era of Fandom Night that just ran absolute. And then about the last year, and it's not actually the fault of the show or anything. It really is a life thing that hit us. Not to jump too far into it, but I'll give you guys an idea. What ended up happening that really broke Fandom Night was a couple members had to move away from the area. One member left completely because they went off to go to school. Specifically, they went off for two things. Scott left to do school and to focus on he went to go to school to do a career that he specifically wanted to do, and then he refocused himself because he wanted to do acting, and he started taking like some side roles, and he started doing background appearances as like extras in like he was like an extra in a zombie movie and a couple of things like that. So that's like what he actually went off to do. It's what he specifically wanted to go do. So we lost him. Spencer would not come back to the show. He basically moved out of town, and at the time he was not into anything Sentai or whatever, so we couldn't get him back, so we couldn't fill that spot. And then one of our members, his dad passed away, and that took him out of the show for a good while. Another one of our members ended up, something happened, and he actually ended up losing his job, and he was stuck in job limbo for a couple of months. And then when he finally did get a job, he was back on third, and then that made things really complicated. And before you knew it, we were down to like 2 members that could actually attend in the studio. Because for years, we filmed in here. And then all of a sudden, we could not do that anymore. We had to like get used to trying to do it online. So we tried to do it online, and before we knew it, it was a nightmare to try to set up a Saturday, because either 2 of our members were losing a lot of sleep, or they couldn't make it, or whatever. Like life actually killed the fandom night. Like, it's not dead. I refuse to call it dead because even me and Shane have discussed what it would take to bring it back. And we have been in serious discussion about it. And me and Seth have been in serious discussion about what it would take to bring it back. Even if we had to come back as only 3 members, there has been legit discussion as to how to do it, when to do it, and what we would need to make it work. I'm not telling you that show is dead. I'm telling you it's difficult. And I don't know what we're going to have to do to put it back together at this point. But that's basically the story, how Fandom Night kind of came into its trouble. Build-A-Figure Blob is straight out of my nightmares. It is. It's not a joke, man. Been a fan of yours for that long. We miss Shane Butcher's names. I agree. I also do. Let's open Emma Frost. That's what we got going on here. So we'll do Emma Frost, and then we'll hit back at the chat, whatever happens to be going on. And let me see if I can't fix this before we move. There. Okay. Here we go. First one. Emma Frost. Here we are. The White Queen. This is from the X-Men 97. This is X-Men 97, Emma Frost, and I hope this fixes the last one. The last Emma Frost. I remember I opened her, and I wasn't mad about her. I really wasn't. I specifically remember being like, hey, this isn't that bad of a figure. This part works for me. I kind of like this. I don't hate this, blah, blah, blah. It was one of those figures that got worse over time. This happens. Sometimes you get a figure, the initial hit of it is positive. You see the presentation and it all works for you, and you go, hey, this could be great. Before you know it, you start noticing things that are wrong. She would not stand up. Like she was unbalanced, horrifically so, and she would always fall over. That got to be real old. I ended up having to get a stand for her because she just wouldn't stand up. And then I wanted to do some pictures with her. That's when the troubles really happened. That's when I realized she was bad. The face was already starting to give me some problems. At first, the face was fine. I didn't mind it at all. I was like, hey, I kind of get it. I know what they're going for here. I don't think it bothers me that bad. Then I spent some real time with it, and I started realizing that to get certain pictures that I wanted, her face was starting to stand out in a way that made me feel like this isn't right. Like something feels wrong about her face. Then, her cape. That was the end. Her cape was the absolute end point. It came up to here and went across her arms. It was glued onto her chest and then plugged into her back. And it was not cloth. They used this same kind of thing they're doing right here, though I've heard this cape is better, and we'll see very soon. She would move her arms this much. That's it. That's what she's got going on. That's her. This is what I got. This is the complete dynamic, cool thing that I can do. This thing here. It was terrible. It was terrible. And finally, I had no choice but to go, this is a bad figure. This is a bad figure. And at that point, I had to say, she's got to go. She's got to go. She doesn't work. And finally, I ended up doing a short where I talked about the problems with her and I took her off the shelf. I was like, you're gone. You're gone. I can't. Maybe another person, not me, could have customized it and made it work. Sure. I didn't feel the need. I was like, they will do an Emma Frost again. I'm getting rid of her. So I did. I got rid of her. And if I'm being perfectly honest, that Emma Frost was more astonishing X-Men anyway. It's not a bad thing. But when my mind goes to Emma Frost, all the time, my mind pictures classic Emma Frost, iconic look, to be the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. This is what I think about. And when they said, we're going to do an X-Men 97 Emma Frost, at first I was a little worried. Because I was like, it's X-Men 97. They're probably going to do this. That's a fine look, but it's not quite what I want. I'm probably going to be skipping that one. Then I seen it. I started looking at it and I said, is that what I want? I had to fight with myself a little bit about it. I almost didn't pre-order it. I'll be very honest. Because I saw this cape. And when I seen this cape, I was like, they did it again. And I wasn't going to get it. Then, I'm online. And I'm flipping randomly. I'm on X. And I'm just basically doom scrolling. Hey, look, there's Dan. And I look, and somebody has asked Dan a very specific question. Does the cape come off? Dan responds, cape is removable. And I went off to Big Bad. Oop-a-doop-a-doop. Yep. Okay. Now I'm in. And then I wait. Like, people were getting Emma way before Bill was. Way before Bill was. Now, this show is not one of those shows. It's not a review show where I come in and I, like, review figures necessarily. I guess you could make the argument that we kind of review figures, but it's more about first impressions, the why, and sharing fandom in general. That's really what this show is about more than anything else. Just so happens to involve a lot of toys. And on this one in particular, I'm surprised I have it now. Like, I've noticed that I get figures, but I get them, like, late. And I don't know what that's about. I see reviewer after reviewer after reviewer that get them, like, months in advance. And they probably have some reason that they get stuff months in advance. They probably have something worked out. They probably have an affiliate thing or something like that. I don't necessarily want any kind of an affiliate. One could argue I would be okay with one thing. If I would say, hey, use my code and buy something from Big Bad. If I could support a shop, because Big Bad isn't way too far away from me. So if I could support a shop that's like, you know, something like that, I would do so. It's not really a brick and mortar. You don't go to Big Bad, but you get the idea. It's the kind of toy thing that I've bought a lot from them. That would not bother me. But I think it would make me a little bit dishonest if I was like, if I had like an affiliate where they like sent me stuff. Not that I wouldn't like some free toys, wouldn't we all? But let us also be honest about it. Price can sometimes factor into our opinions when we're talking about these things. And if my price is $0 and I want them to keep sending me stuff, to keep myself honest, this isn't me necessarily saying, because I would lie to you, but let me just be honest about the situation. If somebody gives me something for free, it relaxes me a little bit on how hardcore I critique it. That's a human nature. I'm going to call it out right now. That's true. If I didn't have to pay for that 66 Batmobile that I bought, it would be the best. Like, it's free. I'd almost be hard-pressed to find the things that I wanted to complain about, realistically. And so I've kind of stayed away from even that possibility, whether I could have got it or not. So I often get my stuff late, and then often I'll get my stuff late, and then we still won't even open it for a while because they won't win the vote or whatever. So when she came in, I was wondering if I was going to do a standalone video for her. But she actually has been voted on, and she is the iconic design that I feel Emma Frost, this is the figure I have wanted. That's Hellfire Club. That's Emma Frost. The faces look like they're going to be solid. And if we can take this cape off, that restriction is gone. This could be the one. This could be the Emma Frost on the shelf, and they will be hard-pressed to get me to buy another one. Hard-pressed. So, let's check. Okay, this was an interesting unboxing. First off, okay, is it you? I think it's the cape. Oh, wow. Oh, there is... Is it marker? I don't want to be sitting here huffing marker. It's like a new plastic. It almost smells like a marker. The best way I can explain it, it smells like when you have a marker and you're coloring and you get that smell. And it was noticeable to the point that when I opened it, it came out of the box. And I was like, whoa. And then I couldn't help it. I was like, I have to know. So I smelled the box and there's it's noticeable. It's it's lofting on the plastic, which is wild to me that that's a thing at all. This is the first figure I've encountered that with in a long time. That hard new plastic smell or whatever. Maybe it's something in the paint they used or something. I don't know what it is. It's not rubbing off on my hands, is it? No, it's not. That's at least a plus. Okay. And then I go to open her up and I get her all the way open. And she not only was in this, because she's in this, she's in this. And then I popped her out. And then they gave her a second piece of plastic just for her butt. Look at that. Look at that. That's her cheek package. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna look at it. Is there a reason they had to? Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. I guess they did, didn't they? There is a reason that they had to. Holy crap! They didn't mess around there, did they? Let's see if I can get a focus. There is form on those cheeks. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Okay, so. This figure is already unreal. So I'm noticing that with the cape, it's not as bad, but we are dealing with the same kind of problem. See, she just doesn't, the cape is restrictive. The cape is a cool idea, but unless you're going to do this in a fabric, these capes are awful. They're not helping your figures. They're hurting your figures. Like, they just don't work. They just don't work. Like, so right off the bat, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull this because aside from a standing, this cape is a problem. Like, look how stiff that is. Like, and up at the top, it's even more stiff because of that. Like, this should not be something... Nothing should be this level of restrictive on a figure that is meant to move. If you're going to build articulation into the figure, don't add this. This should be a cloth material by now. And there is no way they are going to convince me when even McFarlane said in direct interview there was no difference between the price of the capes and the wireframe capes. He said it did not change my production cost at all. That's what he said out loud in interview. They said, do the cloth capes take up the price of production? He said, no, they're really about the same. He says the amount of plastic and material that we use to build the capes anyway, whatever. So, there we go. Like, that cape, we don't need it. We don't need that cape. And I'm kind of glad. I don't like the cape. So let's put on the other head. Not for any real reason other than I just kind of want to see it. And we are going to switch this. Yeah, we're going to right hand. Right hand, we're going to move into the expression hand. And we're going to look this figure over. So there we go. That is the new Emma Frost. Let's take, she's white, bright white. Like, look at that. So I got to kind of shadow her a little bit. But, okay. This is really good, actually. Because of the way that she's built, and she has deep shoulder cuts, we do have this. So if that kind of bothers you, it's there. But if you're going to have a character that has a level of scantily cladness at all, you're going to come across that. Look at that. Look at how the stage lights light her up, man. And that's what I was talking about. Look, she ain't... Look, oh my gosh. They didn't mess around there, did they? Oh my gosh. That's fine, though. Not going to complain. Let's break out the knees here a bit. She can kick her own butt. Her hips are... I almost wonder if they made a new bottom area. It almost looks like her hips are wider than what I think I've seen with some of the other female characters. I really do think that. Oh, I love that. So she still has that swivel here at the thigh, and they cut it right at the boot. So there's a completely seamless on that idea. I like the expression hand here. I really do. That's a simple thing, but I like when these kind of characters come with an expression hand or something like that. They gave her a little bit of definition, actually. If you're looking at her back, she has a decent level of definition in her shoulders and stuff like that. And yes, it seems like they didn't skimp up here too much either. For the size of the figure, it seems like they very much knew, hey, Emma Frost is a certain kind of figure. Just do it. You know what? Give them props. Give them props, because I can't tell you how many times it feels like they hold back in Marvel Legends. Like they're a little weird about it, where they go, well, I mean, you gotta be careful because we want to be able to sell to everybody. I understand that. But when you are making comic book figures have a certain look about them. You would not release skinny Superman, because that's not like a thing. And the same idea going the opposite direction, play to your source material. If you're going to release her, just do her. Just do her. I'm going to give it to them this time. They did. I really have to block the light. She is bright white. That's so crazy. But that's good. That's a good figure. I'm impressed. I am. Curious. Really? I was thinking she would have no torso movement. She actually has, it's not perfect, but she has a decent level of lower torso movement, which I didn't expect her to have, because I thought for sure that her torso movements would be restricted because of this. And I was even willing to say this time that if they use that, uncut body all the way down like they like to do with a lot of these figures now, well, for like the last decade, we've had the same female buck. It's getting really old. She is pinless. She's double elbows. She's double knee. She does have those high heels. Those heels are high. She probably will have some trouble standing. However, I have already sat her down at the desk, messed with her ankles once. I've got her standing. I know you can't see that, but I've got her standing right now. And it took very little to no effort. Why? Because this is not on her. I'm positive this is part of it. Because this thing is heavy. It doesn't seem like it would be a problem, but this is a real problem. Like, this should have been cloth. Sorry. Back to the capes video. I did that video specifically talking about capes. But I'm telling you, this thing is unacceptable. I will get a couple of shots with this, I'm sure. Because it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's heavy. And it restricts all of her movement. And I'm positive it will mess up any pose I ever wanted to do with her. Both heads are very good. Like, we have this one, which I don't know how it's going to focus in on her face because I'm here. Oh, I might be able to get it a little bit. Let me block me and see if I can't get it to focus in on her face. There it is. She has good face design. And then the other one here, the other face she came with, this one, that is really good. Move it over here, see if I can't get the light to focus in on it. That new camera is going to be a big help. I'm telling you. I like both of these hair sculpts, like, a lot. I like both of these faces a lot. I like that this one has that smirk, like just that really, I like that a lot. And I like that this one just has that, like, stern look about her. This is a good Emma Frost. This is the Emma Frost, as far as I am concerned. This is what I wanted, man. Absolutely. This is what I wanted. They did it. They did it. I'm happy with this one. I'm very happy with this one. She's good. Oh, it is her. That's weird. That's really weird. It smells like marker. Why do you smell like that? Well, this video's off to a start. That is wild. I really wonder why she smells like that. Emma Frost is added to the shelf. So wild. Let's set this up now. Okay, we did up to there, so we are in Nope, I missed. Bam! Let's go see what's happening here at the chat. most famous quote that everyone loved was, "It's Christmas morning, giving Shane a choice between two shitty choices." That was fun. Believe it or not, we still kind of do that every now and then. Like, not even in the show. That's like a part of our lives now. Hey, Bill, am I getting the red She-Hulk Marvel Legends? No. I don't have any association with the Red Hulk. Like, in terms of the She-Hulk. I was not reading her book when that happened. I don't know the storyline of it. I don't know what was going into it or why or how. I don't understand any of it. So it's not something that, like, appealed to me. Aside from the fact that it's a She-Hulk, it looks pretty good. She's red. That's cool. But I talk about sticking to your collection rules. And one of my big rules here is that everything in this collection has to have a story and a purpose, or it has to go. She would be out of my collection so fast. I would literally buy her because big buff red lady. And then, unless I ended up going back to read those comics and I was like, oh, these comics are great, that would be the end of it. Like, I'd be rid of her in no time. Like, she'd be in my collection for like less than a year and she'd be gone. So I knew instantly, I was like, this is cool, but no. So I stayed away from that. That 1997 smell. Mythic Legion's Mouse King had that smell when I opened it Friday. It was strong AF. Yeah, like, that's wild. I don't know what that is. She is the first Legends I've opened that I can remember, like, in memory, that had that effect. I mean, it came out of the box. Like, I'm telling you, I was here, pulled this open, and by the time I even got it to here, I could smell it, and I was like, what is that? And then I kind of like got it a little closer as I pulled this up, and it hit me. I mean, it's still in here. Like, I don't know what paint they used or what they did, but it is noticeable. Like, it is noticeable. That's what I'm telling you. Kind of wild, if you want the truth of it. Interesting. I didn't get that smell or scent with mine. I wonder if Big Bad Toy Store just got it from Hasbro then. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting that you didn't have it. I mean, it was noticeable. Like, he says, is Bill getting high off the smell? Emma Frost making things. Bill should start next week's stream sniffing the figure. Yeah, she is. They didn't, they gave her them cheeks, that's for sure. Cheeks for days. Thickness. All that cake, and it's not even... Wow. Don't forget the ice cream. Oh my God. Yes. Dude, I love Robo Don't Know. I love him. I watch him every Friday. I don't really watch a lot of his play dates and things like that, but I catch him every Friday. I really love him. I didn't know if anybody would realize, because like some people catch it and some people don't. I didn't know if they'd know if I was making a direct music quote or if I was specifically referring to him. I love Robo. He's so good, man. So good. Eden molded. No capes. Let's see. Sniff them cakes. It's so wrong. Let's check this real quick. It seems like we got 6 people hanging out. And we currently have 4 votes. We're at 4 minutes. And well, right now, storage is winning, which is kind of cool. I always kind of like to do one of these storage ones. So that would not bother me at all if that wins. We'll give it a little bit more time because it says 6 people are watching. It's possible that somebody's like at work and has it playing in a headphone or something like that, and they're not actually in the votes. That does happen. I know every now and then, not way too long ago, at work, actually, I went to work and somebody stopped me. And it caught me off guard, actually, because they were like, hey, I saw your, it was somebody that I didn't know watched my stuff at all. Like, I had no idea. And they specifically said, hey, I caught your stream. And I was like, My stream. What? Like, and it just kind of really floored me there for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I noticed that you were online or whatever, turn the stream on. And I was like, do you normally watch my stuff? And they're like, if I notice that you're on or you're posting or whatever, yeah, I'll check you out. And it just kind of threw me off. Every now and then that happens, and I don't see it coming. Yeah. Did you shop for your daughter's gift yet? She wants something very specific, and it is not something that I will shop for. What she wants, and she's been rocking it, so she's going to end up getting it. She wants a new laptop to pass the next couple years. She has an old laptop that was kind of a hand-me-down that came from her mother, and she's been using that for a while. And she does a lot of her stuff with it. She talks to her friends and does her Discord and stuff like that, and that's how she keeps track of people, because she moved all around for a very long time. Her being here with me now is I'm stationary, and I've been stationary for a long time, and that's kind of helping the situation. She wants to do high school without moving around, and for a long time with her mom, they were moving almost yearly. So she wanted to sit in one spot, so she asked if she'd come here, and we worked that out. Now she's been staying here. She's going to stay here for high school. And then whatever she does, by that point, she'll be making up her life decisions. One of the things she wants is she knows she wants a laptop, and she wants a new one because she wants to be able to pump a little more power and be able to play a couple more games. And she also needs it to be a laptop because she wants to take it back and forth. She has been saving everything she gets, being very careful about spending anything that she spends for quite a while, to the point where she's up to about $700. And all she's asking for this year is money. Just money to push her over the top. And I'm like, okay. Like, the very fact that you've got to that amount at the age that you're at, because look, at the age that she's at, everything looks exciting. That's just the way that it is. That's life. It's, hey, these clothes, hey, these shoes, hey, this thing, hey, these toys, hey, this electronic, hey, this game. And the Switch 2 came out. And she had the money. She could have done it without me getting it for her. Like, she could have done it by herself. You get the idea. And she didn't. We have not invested in the Switch 2 yet. It is something that I want. But by the time I get into it, it'll take me a while before I get it. Because the idea for me with the Switch 2 is when I buy it, it's going to be a big drop because I'm going to get one and I'm going to get one for me and my kid at the same time. So we're looking at like $1,100. You get the idea. It's not an easy drop. So I'm waiting on the Switch 2. She could have bought one without me. But she has had the willpower to say, no, this is what I want. And if I keep messing around, I'm not going to get it. This is what I want. So while she's doing that, she has been building her money towards this one thing. Buy a laptop. Okay. She's basically made it by herself at this point for the kind of thing that she's looking at. I would prefer that she get up to about 1K and then shop around and get something worth getting that'll pass the time for what she wants to do. And that's my goal. Just in case she does watch this, I'm not going to tell you how much I'm giving her, but that's what she's getting this year. Because I admire the fact that she was able to take care of her stuff and make her decisions, and she's moving in the direction she wants to move in. That's good. It's not easy for a kid to do. I used to spend my money. You know what I mean? So I'm very impressed, and that's what she's getting. That's absolutely what we're doing. Did you see the teaser for Supergirl, and what are your thoughts on the potential for this movie? I didn't realize it was a teaser. Is there a teaser trailer out? If that's a thing, I haven't seen it yet. What I did see was the costume, and the costume looks fantastic. The costume looks absolutely fantastic. I did not realize that the teaser was out. My poor wallet. Way to go, Bill's daughter. Keep up the good work. We are... Okay. We're doing a storage. Cool. Cool. All right. I've got 2 boxes over here. It's just a stack of stuff. It's all storage from like my apartment and whatnot. Back before I moved over here, some of it I know and remember, and some of it has not been unpacked for a very long time. Some of it even came from as far back as like when I was still living at my dad's. So I don't know what's in these 2 boxes. So let's reach into the box. Let's reach into storage and figure out, let's talk about something. I'm going to reach into the bottom box this time because there's 2 boxes here. So I'm going to reach into the bottom box, see what I figure out here. What is this? Oh my God. This is wild. Okay. So, I got a safe here. Whoa. That's been in the box for a minute. There's a safe. Okay? First off, this safe is actually pretty cool because I can repurpose this for many things. I don't just have to use it for what it was originally. And so that's actually really cool. It comes in the safe is this Kevin Smith paper. Okay. This pile of cash. And a twisty tie. I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to be in there. This is twisty tie. Who knows? Who knows why that ended up in there? But this is all part of a set, and I do have the other parts of the set right here. So this is wild. Check that out. Okay. Then I have this wild-looking Spider-Man. He goes on a brick wall, and I actually have the diorama part, the brick wall, downstairs in the garage. I've used it for a couple of pictures. This Spider-Man goes on the brick wall and he looks through a window. He's got the big giant red tick on the back and everything. He's not bad. I mean, for what he's supposed to be, he's just a big thing that goes on the wall. He's not super detailed or anything like that. He's really just kind of a simple piece. Pretty cool, but never really necessarily blew my mind. And he is very much just a standing statue. And what he looks in, when he looks in, this right here is supposed to be in and it's supposed to be open. You're supposed to see some of the contents of it. And this figure is standing there holding like this right here. This is all that really moves on her. She can move this. The legs or nothing like that move. The head can move. She's a posable statue at best. But basically, you put her hand like this, and there's a hanging jewel, like on a necklace, on a chain that she can kind of put her hand around, and then she puts this hand on her hips, and then she's standing there, and she's kind of got this look about her and everything, and she's kind of looking, and she's standing in there, and he's looking through the window, and she's just stole some stuff. This is old. Like, I don't remember how old necessarily, but I think this is roughly based, I think that's the reason this Kevin Smith thing is in here. I think this is roughly based on one of the books that Kevin Smith did. I think it's the one, there's a really hard book that they did with Black Cat years ago, and Kevin wrote it, and there's some massive suggestion about some SA in that book that happens to her. And it's a hard book, like a really, really hard book. In the end, it's kind of interesting because there's a thing that plays off of it and everything. And then you figure out like some of her Felicia's backstory and stuff like that, which kind of added a extreme depth to some of the character and why she is the way that she is. But that's what all this is from. This is wild. So now here's the real question, though. Would I keep this? Because, like, it's cool. Like, I'll repurpose this for diorama purposes and use it for some of my photography. The money and the Kevin Smith book thing can also be repurposed. But realistically, and here's the thing that's rough about this, if I keep those parts, I'm not going to sell the diorama brick wall, because I would use that for some pictures. But if I choose to do that and use it for pictures, these two become somewhat irrelevant because they go with that brick wall, they go with that display, and I can't exactly sell them. This is one of those weird things in collecting. If I was to get rid of the whole thing, because I have the whole set, I have the brick wall, I have the floor, I have the parts, and I have the two statue characters. Do I keep them? Do I use them? Do I put it somewhere and it's kind of like a cool display? Or do I repurpose it to use for some of my stuff? Like, do I add this to J. Jonah Jameson's office and stuff like that? Well, that's what I want to do, but then it leaves me with these, and I don't know what to do with these. And I don't really have a purpose for them either. Like this Spider-Man, he's not going to do anything. Like, even if I put him somewhere, like, I don't know, maybe I could find a way to put him, like, on the wall or something somewhere where he's climbing up, which might be cool for just, like, a gimmicky little offhand thing, which is fine, but it doesn't, like, it doesn't accomplish anything. It's one of those weird things that we run into when we talk about collecting that we don't really talk about that often, is that you can collect everything or you can curate. And I'm one of those people that I curate a lot. I get rid of a lot of stuff. I don't like to hold on to it if it doesn't have a purpose, if it doesn't mean anything to me, and if I can't make use out of it, then it's gone. And this is one of those things that realistically, I don't have a real purpose for this thing, this item, except for to repurpose parts of it into other things, like the dioramas. And I kind of want to do that. But then I'd be stuck with these two figures that I have no idea what to do with, and they don't really serve a purpose. I don't really do statues anymore. Statues is something that I left behind quite a long time ago. And this right here is kind of cool as a standalone statue. He's not. He needs that brick wall to function. But if I use that brick wall for other things, then he's not going to be on the brick wall. He's going to be over to the side. And that's kind of awkward because now he doesn't really have a place. And if I just put her somewhere random, I mean, I guess one could argue she's nice to look at, I guess. Sure. But, like, I'm not really a statue guy like the way that I used to be. So this is a conundrum piece. I don't really know what to do with it. I'm going to have to ponder it for a while. It is now out of storage. If I put it all together and sell it as a set and sell it to somebody that wants it as a statue thing that collects statues, that makes a lot of sense. But if I purpose out the parts for stuff that I want to do, then I end up with an interesting problem because I can't really do anything with the other two figures. I don't even know where to keep them. That is a real collection problem. And it's interesting to me how often nobody talks about collection problems. Oftentimes, and I think this is true, you see this in collections and people that do collection stuff. You see the end result only. Only. I think this is important. I think that we skip this. This has been something that's happened since YouTube. Since YouTube, and TikTok is a big component of this as well, but I think it really started with YouTube. Toy hunting and things of this nature, it was just a thing we did. I collected Star Trek and things like that, and we just did it, and I had this cool room, and I would come in and sit down and look at stuff. And you can go all the way back to some of my earliest stuff in YouTube and see that I've always been this way. I've always had movies, games, anime, figures, statues, toys. I've always been this person. But curated over time, I have reached a point. If I go on now to like TikTok and start being like, look at this. I've even had people on here that come in and go, oh man, you've got so much, or you've done this, or you've put together so-and-so, and that's crazy. And yes, but you're seeing the end result. You're seeing what took a long time. And some people will try to get into a hobby like this, and they will compare themselves, because that's like a thing we do now. We compare ourselves to somebody that's way further ahead of us than we are. Or maybe they've just got more space than us. Like I know people that have toy basements, like full finished basements, like 3 to 4 rooms all the way across the length of their house, and they just build an absolute museum. And then I see something like that and I go, oh man. And here's what it can cause. It can cause you to look at your hobby or your collection and feel like inferior, like you're trying to play catch up. But the truth of the matter is that shouldn't matter to you. Your collection is your collection. It says something about you. It's your interest, your life, your design, your stuff. You. It doesn't need to live up to my standards, nor should it. I'm not saying you can't take ideas from people. Oh, that's cool. I kind of like the idea of build like a thing and do this thing. I'm not saying you can't take ideas, but you have to be very careful about comparing yourself. And you have to understand that there are realities to this hobby, like what I just talked about. If I choose to keep these, what do I do with them? Now, I'm gonna put this real, most YouTubers, this is not a question. You will never see this unless they bring it out for some quick demonstration to say, oh yeah, blah, 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 or talk about a toy history or something like that. Then they will put it in a tote or something, shove it in a corner, and never talk about it again. And you will never understand the dilemma of that until you reach it in what you're doing or you're collecting or what you're interested in. And I've seen people that literally box themselves out of their own hobby because they reach a point of no return, because they didn't realize that there was a building point. They were only seeing the end result, because so much of this stuff now is like people showing off their hobby, not explaining it and not sharing it, just showing it off. I think that's a little dangerous and also dishonest, because like you got to ask real questions like, where do you keep all this stuff? What do you do with it? How does it affect other portions of your life? Does it invade on other portions of your life? Do you reach a point of being a hoarder because you're not taking care of the in-between? Because some people, they really do. They reach that point and they can't walk backwards, and then they end up just selling everything to get out of it because they can't curate. And like, I think there was a channel called, and I think it's still around, it's at Toy Galaxy. He actually had a video a long time ago that talked about like his collection version 1, version 2, and version 3, and how he basically built up to a point where he was just getting everything, and it blocked him out and broke everything that he was doing, and he had to like mass sell everything and restart with like purpose and everything because he couldn't, you know what I mean? These are things that they don't talk about in the hobby that I think need real attention from people that are willing to share the actual hobby at its main. Like its up points, its down points, its search, its cost points, it's what they had to skip, what they might get later, what they never got because this is the reality of the thing that they do, what they focus on, what they don't focus on, why they choose it that way as opposed to others, what's important to them over something else. All of these are talking points that most people I don't see. I think I see more people doing quick reviews about all the stuff they have and all the stuff they'll get, rather than the why, the how, the interest, and the difficulties that come with it. And this is kind of part of it. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I may sell it. because I'm pretty sure that I can find a little safe. I'm pretty sure I can do that. But then there's the argument I already have the safe. Would somebody just want that black cat? I don't know why they would just want that black cat. She's really not complete without the set. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's the reality of it. And that's, I think, an interesting point to doing the storage sometimes, is because it brings up conversations about why do you even have this? Is it even worth anything anymore? Would you keep it? Would you get rid of it? Does it even belong in the new curated things? Maybe not. Let's go back to the chat. "21 years. 21 years at your job. I am at my current spot, my current job, 16 years. 16 years. Let's fix this, shall we? Doop, 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 doop. Okay, let's... Okay, let's set... We just... Okay, so we're back up here. And there. Okay, let's see. Man, what I would give for an update comic book Black Cat on the updated female body. Yes. No, I absolutely agree with that. I passed on getting a Black Cat not too long ago, specifically for that reason. Because what I want is the comic book, Black Cat. Excuse me. I want her as close to this as possible. And I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm sure we'll get one eventually. But when we do, I don't want them to cheap out either. It has to be on the full new female buck, or we shouldn't buy it. I know that I'm saying, you know, everybody likes to be like, vote with your wallets. And yeah, that's a real thing. I'm not saying that it's not a real thing, but like, can you get everybody on board? Because if they release a Black Cat and nobody buys it, they will assume, because they're about ridiculous, they'll think that just nobody wants Black Cat. Not that they didn't want an outdated, you know, same buck that we've seen for the last decade Black Cat. We want the newest female body Black Cat full buck, or we don't want it. And if we didn't buy the minor update that they released, that's if they do that. I'm hoping they go full and give us exactly what we need. But if they don't, if they do, you know, just the passable Black Cat, and we don't buy it, they may never do another one because they just assume she doesn't sell. They probably won't track that back and go, we messed up. I would hope they do, but I don't know what the chance of it is. And so then you put yourself in a funny situation, like, do you not buy it because you want to send the message? But then if you don't buy it and they never do another one, you're stuck with that one, so you may as well have got it, and you're going to have to go get it anyway. Toys. That's what I do with the DVD collection I have. I upgrade to Blu-ray and sell the DVD. Unless it's a burnt copy, then I have to toss it. My father did that for a long time. Have you ever been in a situation with a figure where you literally can't find a good-looking pose to put them on your shelf? It's so annoying to deal with. Yes. Yes, and I often figure it out in the aftermath. Like, I do this, and I open it up, and we talk about it. And then I end up going back, and before I know it, I'm trying to find some way to get them on the shelf. And I kind of want something out of them. And I start moving them and trying to get them into poses and doing different things with them. And I start to realize, oh no. That was kind of what happened with the Spider-Gwen figure. The Spider-Gwen figure I liked a lot until I started articulating. Once I started trying to articulate to move her around, I started realizing she's a Spider-Gwen that can't swing. Like the female buck doesn't work for that. She can't take the pose that I need for her to be what I need her to be. A Spider-Woman. That's a real problem. And I have encountered that many times with many figures that I find out in the aftermath, like, oh, this is a problem. And then I can't, I'll work on it for a while trying to find this one look that, makes them presentable. In fact, we just actually got done with a figure. Emma Frost. The Emma Frost that came from the Build-A-Figure, the Chode Wave, that Emma Frost, I liked her until I had to do anything with her. As a statue, she was fine. As a figure, she was absolute trash, unavoidable garbage. And I didn't realize it until I had to put her somewhere. I'm always constantly playing and messing around with my figures till I get a pose I want. But eventually, after some time, I get bored and change it up. Looks like Marvel Legends is winning. Side note. Holy Crimson Skies of Death, Batman. Netflix wins bid to own WB for $82.7 billion. Hollywood crashes out and Paramount is offering shareholders $108 billion. It's war. I'd have to look up what you're talking about. So I did hear something about Netflix buying WB. I don't think that bothers me at all. In fact, I would argue in certain cases this could be very good for comic books, like the DC stuff. Because let's be honest, for what it's worth, Netflix has done some pretty good adaptations, and they're becoming a bit of a powerhouse in their own right for making Netflix property movies and whatnot. Heck, I'm going to be honest, I liked the Frankenstein movie and things like that, like little things that, and I loved the Daredevil series. Okay. I legitimately loved it. I think that is one of the best comic book series I've ever seen in my entire life. It's fantastic. So good, in fact, that I know I'm not alone because they literally took it right into, they didn't just change it up. They just said, okay, all those 3 seasons that Netflix did, we'll just continue that. We'll just continue that over here. When Disney did not throw away that and say, no, that's not a thing that happened, we're going to do our own thing and hire our own guys. They just knew. They were like, we can't, that was too good, has to come over here. Look, that says absolute great things for the possibility of some Batman movies and things like that. And holding the line and putting out some solid work for a DCU. I love that. That's good. There are some other properties of WB too, which I'm sure could probably do good under that umbrella. Because for what it's worth, it seems like Netflix does a pretty good job with the properties they own. They're not flawless, sure. But I'm not exactly disappointed with them either. Most of the time, if it's a Netflix series, I tend to do fine with it. I tend to go, oh, that's not bad. They're doing some good work. They've done some solid animes. They've done some solid adaptations that nobody expected was going to be half as good as they turned out being. They've done some pretty good movie projects, and they've done some pretty good series projects. Hey, they bought WB. If that gives them the rights to do a bunch of comic stuff, let them run. Let them run. I'm interested to see what they'll do. I am. So that doesn't bother me. Hollywood crashes out. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that interpretation is, so I'm not going to speculate. Paramount is like offering shareholders $108 billion. I'm going to be honest with you about something when it comes to Hollywood and all that. If Hollywood went under, it would just get replaced by a different entity. I'm not worried about that. I don't care at all. Nothing about it matters to me. Next, as for the shareholders thing, big deal. I just don't. We see this all the time. Whatever's going on is whatever. Whatever's going on is whatever. It doesn't bother me that way. I'll keep my eye on it to see what it affects, but here's the only thing I need from Paramount. This is it. It's the only thing I need. Star Trek. Done. Most of the other news doesn't bother me. Doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't do anything. I just need them to have Star Trek. I need to watch Star Trek. That is my show. It has been my show since I was literal 4 years old, and it will always be my show until I die. So if they just keep giving me some decent Star Trek to chew on every now and then, I don't really pay attention to anything else that Paramount does. I don't know any other shows really. Sometimes I find something and I'm like, oh, really? They have Nicktoons? And I might watch something. It's completely irrelevant to me what they do with their shareholders or how they play the game. Star Trek. So I don't have a whole lot of input here other than I'm not worried about the Netflix thing. I think that they could do a good job. They won the bid. Give it to them. And it also allows for another powerhouse to be able to play against Marvel. Because Netflix is becoming its own line powerhouse slowly but surely. It has been building over time, and the fact that they could even offer that kind of money proves it. So we'll see where that goes. The rest of it, I just don't care. You despise Netflix. I'm sorry. I meant Warner Brothers, freaking auto spelling. Oh, probably with this thing that you posted that I didn't get to. Hey man, what's going on? That's my nephew. One more week, Bill. One more week till our cards are changed and the X-Men 97. Oh yeah, charged. Ooh. Is that 1 week? That is, isn't it? What is? Oh yeah, it's the 8th. Ooh, yes. Yes. Dude, that Sentinel, it's going to hit hard. But it's going to hit hard in more than just money. That Sentinel is going to be magic. Like, I'm sorry. I almost count this as like my last FOMO, is that I still see like there are reviewers that already have it. They already have it. It's in their hand right now. I've already seen people doing photographs with it, pictures with it, stills with it, different videos and things like that. Everything from reviews to thoughts and reels and things like that. It blows my mind just how quick some of these people get it. And like I'm sitting here like, come on, Sentinel, come on. Like, I'm looking forward to this Sentinel like crazy. And my wife said, how big is that thing? I said, it's 2 feet tall. And she goes, where are you going to put it? And I said, baby, it will sit in my chair when I'm not editing for all I care. It can stand back there. I don't care. There's no way I was passing on it. He could stand like a little child over here at the corner with his arms up while I edit for all I care. Just like, hey, up. No, Sentinel, I'm busy over here, man. There's no way. There's no way I was passing on it. Sentinel, 97 Sentinel. Every time I think of Sentinels, I see that animated series and that original comic book design. That's how I see it. They got it perfect. They couldn't have done it better. And it's going to be 2 feet tall and it's going to fight every single X-Men in this room. by itself. And I can't wait. I can't wait. In my mind, whoever actually acquires WB is going to grossly overpay and eventually will have to sell off portions of the company to make back anything. And that's very possible. That's very possible. Adamant point or worthwhile point, good point. I won't argue that. In fact, I would argue that's the idea. You grossly overpay for the things that you know is going to give you money. And then you piece out everything that doesn't matter to you. I think that's, in a way, that's actually sound business. If Netflix gets WB and adds all those shows to their service, well, there you got a whole bunch of stuff right there. You just quadrupled the size of Netflix overnight, and all the revenue that will come in from people that's the only way they can see their shows now. They're going to end up going to Netflix because that's the powerhouse. That's what you got. And then, if you go past that, they will make the movies they want to make, and then anything they don't want to mess with, they'll do one of two things. They'll basically loan out their properties, like what Universal does with like the Hulk. Universal owns the Hulk. They just kind of loan him. They're like, here, make us money. Here, make us money. That's what you're going to see. And really, money is in the intellectual property, not necessarily all the movies and everything. So, like, what they want is the power to do exactly what you're saying. Whoever gets WB, if they play their cards right, they will quadruple the size of their company value. Almost overnight. Or, and it's playing off of this, or, like you said, they will realize that they just bought a whole bunch of useless material for the two things that they wanted, and then they've got to start figuring out how they're going to recoup. It is a double-edged sword type of situation, and we'll see where it goes. While I don't particularly care for companies getting swallowed by other companies, out of the two to get Warner Brothers, I'd prefer Netflix. Okay, R.I.P. wallets. December 15th, but maybe a bit earlier than that, like the 14th or 13th. Give the Sentinel a large lollipop like a small child of golden crisps. Don't give me ideas, man. Don't get you know I'm going to take that picture now. You know I'm going to take that picture now. Okay, Marvel Legends 1. So let's set up for Marvel Legends. Okay, what was that? Something fell over. I don't know what it was. I heard something fall. It'll be interesting when I rewatch this to see what it was. Something fell over, though. I know something fell over. Okay, so we have he's ready. She's ready. Oh, he's still up here. And okay. Bams. Ooh, that goes over here. Is anyone interested in Wave 5, 6 from Xerxes Studios? I actually don't know how to say their name. I think it's Xerxes, Zesray, or whatever. I actually don't know. I'm excited to get both Bernice. Oh, I don't know the line that well. This will be my first buy-in. I bought that now I can't remember the names all of a sudden. But the new Barbarian lady that's coming out right now, I bought her. She'll be my very first buy-in ever to check out the line. I've always been interested, but I've never bought into the line. And then I've already pre-ordered 2 figures. It might have been 3 figures on the next wave. I think it's wave 6 that you're talking about. I'm almost positive because this will be my first buy-in to them ever. Like, I will be making in real time decisions. Like, when she shows up, Gold, is it Gold, is it Gilder? Gelder or something like that? I can't remember. But when I seen her, I was instantly like, she's my buy-in point. Her, that's perfect. I want it. So I put the money down, and she will determine whether or not Gold Hilder, thank you, she's my buy-in point, and whether or not she passes my test determines whether or not I buy into the line. I do this with lines. I wait until something speaks to me. Because I keep hearing people all the time, oh, you got to get into Mythic Legions. You got to get into Mythic Legions. I did. I bought 1 figure from Mythic Legions. I am waiting. It's not my fault that they keep pushing it back. When they finally give me my Barbarian Elf, okay? When I finally get my Barbarian Elf warrior chick, I will have my first ever. And I will check, and I will figure out if the price I paid is to the quality that I get, is to whether or not I care to go down that route and buy into a line. It's served me well, and it's screwed me before. Sometimes I get a figure that just wasn't their best, and I go, no, this line isn't for me. And I leave it for 2-3 years, and I miss a bunch of good stuff, and I come back. That did happen with Mezco. I bought the 112 Wonder Woman. She was trash. I still say that even now. She's not a good figure. And after sitting with her for a while, I made the decision, Mezco's not for me. So I passed on 2 Conans before finally they got me back where they did a King Conan. I said, okay, look, it's been a while. And I've had a lot of people tell me that figure just happened to be a bad figure for that line. So I tried again. That Conan put me back in their line. Now I'm interested in the things they do. I will know soon with this Gold Hilder because she looks amazing. She looks like everything I want in a barbarian figure. Hands down, hit the mark. If she passes the test, I'm on board with that company. If she turns out to be trash, I will cancel the other 2 that I have in waiting, and I'll be done with them for the next 2-3 years. It's just the way that I function with this kind of stuff. We only have so much money. The truth of the matter is you get 1 chance to impress me. If you miss that chance, bye. Bye. There's too much other stuff out there. Bye. You know I'll be waiting for it. Herbie, yeah. We gave away a Herbie on the show, actually. I had 2 of them, and we gave away a Herbie. We put it on Instagram, and we had people like comment and whatnot, and then I picked one of the commenters, and I sent it out. But that's my Herbie. That's my life-size Herbie, man. Well, I have to head out. Okay, no. I missed that by a long shot, but I will see you. People got the Sentinel earlier because its date was pushed up in Europe, Asia, before them. Whoever is closest to China and then after. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Look, I don't mind that it was pushed back. There's always going to be that little bit of FOMO, like, why do people got it so early? I got to wait so long. But at the same time, I would rather they push it back and get it to me in one piece and they don't got to rush and they get it figured. I don't want people... Look, I work in this industry. I work in logistics. I don't want people to work on their holidays. If they got to push it back and they got to make it do right and they got to get the stuff out, send me quality. Don't give me an employee who's overworked, underpaid, tired, in a cold building or a hot building, sweating and freezing on days that they should have off, doing OT for a stupid contractual date shipping time just so that I can have a plastic toy. I don't care. If they had to push it back to the 30th and give it to me as basically a birthday present, for January or whatever, fine. Fine. 100% on board for that. Just as long as I get it and it's in one piece and it was actually, the guy that was picking it, he cared enough to actually ship it out right. That's all I'm asking for. But every now and then some people get their stuff real early and it makes me go, where's mine? Did you see the new Mondo 112 Skeletor? I did. He looks fantastic. He looks good enough that it makes you wonder if you should have jumped in on the He-Man. But over $100 Motu figures is hardcore. And I gotta say this, Mondo figures look great, move like crap. I have 2 of them. And for $300+, they have 90-degree elbows. They feel stiff. They only move so much. They're decent, posable statues. And I saw the same build designs in the Ghostbusters they released. And I did want the Ghostbusters, but I didn't necessarily want to pay over $100 per Ghostbuster for movement that would not even be on par with the $25 Hasbro Ghostbusters. Something about that seems wrong. Sure, they're more detailed, but I don't know. It didn't speak to me 100%. Looking good is one thing, but you could have sold them as statues, and one could argue it would look even better. And it's probably because I like to take pictures and do fight scenes and things like that, I need my figures to move. But at the same time, I understand you got to hit a balance with it, because I don't necessarily like Amazing Yamaguchi where everything kind of looks weird, like they're too posable. And so, there's an art to this. Sometimes it speaks to me and sometimes it doesn't. That Skeletor looks absolutely fantastic, to the point where it made me go, ooh, did I make a mistake? Really? Silver Surfer and Shuma Gorath are tied right now. Might have to get the legendary Barbarian from Mythic Legions. Heroic Signature Conan seems non-existent from where I buy my toys. Oh my gosh, that Heroic Signature Conan, where is it? This is another... I've already seen people with it in hand. I've already seen people with it in hand. Way early. We're talking almost 3-4 months ago. Already seen it with people, oh, look at this. This is Conan. And I'm like, I've already paid for it. I bought it from the website and they charged me when I bought it. I'm still waiting. It's taking a very long time for that Conan to ship to me. Like I said, we just talked about this. I'm not pushing for it, but it's crazy to me just how early some people have got theirs. Have you seen how much Jazzwares has been expanding recently? I remember them for their Sonic the Hedgehog stuff back in the day. About a year ago, I come to find out that they're doing a budget anime line, and it's actually pretty good. I did see some of that. I haven't paid too close attention, but I did see that they're expanding and playing off some lines and whatnot, and they might be putting out some pretty good stuff. Well, I don't blame you, Bill. You did say you don't particularly connect with the 2000X He-Man, so you had reasons to pass. Right. Okay, so we are at 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's close out the night. Silver Surfer. Marvel Legends comic book wave. Let's do it. This guy is silver. Yep. Look, I know normally I have a lot to say. When it comes to Silver Surfer, this is a little simpler. I always thought he looked really cool. Then I ended up understanding basically nothing about him. Then I got into the Fantastic Four. Then I understood a decent bit more about him. Then I read him in a couple of comics. Then I thought he was even cooler. Then all of that goes by, and I realized I don't read any of his books. He's one of those things that, like, literally, I know he's part of Galactus, the Fantastic Four. He's played some major roles. I'm interested in him. It's no deeper than that. He is one of those rare things that gets onto the shelf because of what he is. Kind of like Snake Eyes. I've never read G.I. Joe. I've never watched G.I. Joe. But for some reason, Snake Eyes works for me. That's this. I would argue I have a lot more experience with him, though, because I have actually read Fantastic Four, and I have actually read a good portion of books that he has appeared in and seen situations, and of course he's been in movies and things like that, and he's appeared in series, and he's appeared in video games, so I have a little more experience with him. But let us be honest about something real quick. Sometimes you go out of your way to buy a figure because you know this is the one you want, right? We talked about it just recently. Emma Frost, she's a good figure. I said, I want that Emma Frost. That's the one I want. This guy right here, you know what I wanted? A Silver Surfer. So why did it take this long to get one? Like, because that's all I wanted, right? I mean, just said it. A Silver Surfer. How many of those? How many has there been? Too many? Okay. You are correct. It is ridiculous that I do not own one of these yet. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Life, crazy life stuff has made sure that no matter how silver he was, I never bought him. Guys, I cannot even tell you how many times this happened. I'm not kidding. I would go to a comic show, and I would find one of him. And I go, oh, Silver Surfer. And I found the one with the hammer. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool. And then right when I find him, I see something else over in the corner. And the something else over in the corner costs like $60. And I can't do both. And, well, the silver guy will still be here later. Then I put him to the side, and then I don't get him. I found Silver Surfer at every single toy show I have gone to. It's not like he's hard to find, guys. He shows up constantly from multiple waves. Sometimes he's darker, sometimes he's brighter, sometimes it doesn't matter that much to me. And then I end up, sometimes I've had them as much as had them in my hand and been like, oh yeah, here it is. You know what? I don't have a Scarlet Spider And then the spider putts in me, puts the Silver Surfer back, and buys the spider. This has happened over and over and over and over. Then they released this wave. And this wave has these guys in it. And finally, I decided it's go time. Look, it has Kitty Beast. I don't want Kitty Beast. I want 90s Beast. That's what I want. I don't care if it comes to be a 97 Beast or if they do a reissue of that Beast I want. That's what I want. And that is the Beast I want, and I only need one Beast. We're done. I don't need Kitty Beast. I liked Astonishing X-Men, but I don't need this Beast. This isn't the one that speaks to me. That Daredevil is cool. That's the man without fear. But you know what he also is? Just a dude. And what do I want? I already have Yellow Daredevil. Believe it or not, there's two more things I wouldn't mind having. 90s Armored Daredevil, and of course the Red Daredevil. That's what I want. Have I found a Red Daredevil yet in person that I would buy? No. I don't like it when they take figures and they do that like shadow effect. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that shadow effect. Look. I don't need shadow and shine effects on this guy. You know why? Because I live in a 3D world, and he is 3D. He's already a 3D thing. And look at how the light hits him. You see how the shadows play off of him? I wonder if that's because I don't need you to add lighting effects. I will do that because these things are already 3D figures. And when I shine a light on them to get the effect I want for the picture, I can't always use only the shadows that you provided because you decided where the shadows were. I hate those figures. I like honestly detest them. I can't stand that thing. I can't stand that shadow work crap they do. I really don't like it. That cell shading like type of thing, I hate it. Can't stand it. And basically the best Daredevil you can get right now, as far as I'm aware, is cell shaded. So I passed on him over and over again. And I passed on the other one because it feels too old, and I know we've got one coming. You can't tell me we don't. I know for a fact we have a comic book Red Daredevil on the way. It has to be. In fact, I think I've even heard rumors that it's coming in the next Secret Wars wave or whatever. You know what? That's going to be the one for me. Perfect. I will wait. Feral. I don't need her. She's cool. And now with Strong Guy on the market, you could easily build this entire team, which is kind of cool, but like, it's fine. It's not a team that I'm looking to build, so that's fine. Black Widow? Yes. I bought her immediately. Rachel? I bought her immediately. Phoenix, Hound, Rachel? Oh, yes. That was for me. They specifically made that for me. They all got together in a boardroom and they were like, what do you think Bill would buy specifically? And they were like, we could try Rachel Summers. And they were right. They got me. It's right here. They got me. Finally, they released this Silver Surfer. And are you seeing? Because I've been keeping him here for a reason. I said, what do I want him to be? Silver. Shiny. Chrome guy. And I don't know if, like, they just had my number this time. But I saw the pictures for this guy. And I said, he feels like the shiniest one they've produced. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to claim to know that. But it sure felt like it. Now, I don't know if this guy is going to be a problem later on, if he's some sort of chrome or like vac metal that's going to like chip away over time. I don't know. I don't have that answer. What I do know is that he's very shiny. He has the longest board. I think they gave him the long board, like the one they just did for his wife, right up there. If that's true, that's great too, because it means he has the long board, he's ridiculously shiny, and he comes with a comic book I can give to J. Jonah Jameson. Hey, win, win, win. Let's open him. Okay. I'm pretty sure that, like I said, is the longer board. I'm almost positive that's the long board that we got with the last figure, which does put me in a slight problem. One issue, small issue, but it's one I'm going to point out regardless. Why does he not come with her stand? What is there some reason we're not doing the stand? Because that's brilliant. That cosmic wave stand that she got right up there, there's no reason that shouldn't have just automatically been, hey, we have that new stand, which was specifically built for a surfboard. Give it to him. Where's the stand at? Why did we not get the stand? You could have painted a slightly different color. Would have been perfect. Would have been legitimately perfect. I don't know why we didn't get that stand. Gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Also, I actually pointed that out. This is the second time I've mentioned that because I also think that stand should have come with the recent Iceman, and they should have just painted it like a bluish color or made it like a translucent, like whitish off blue color for the ice, and then he could have literally done what we've been wanting him to do for a long time, and that's make the ice sled thing. I don't understand it. I don't know why we didn't get it. But I wanted that wave. There. I've griped about it, okay? It is the way, it is what it is. And it doesn't bother me that much, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it is very noticeable to me that we don't have one. Here he is. They went ahead and they did this darkness on the eyes and the face, which I like, because it allows the face to kind of pop out and not just be all this, but like, look at the gleam on this guy. Know what that is? That's a Silver Surfer. Like, and that is, I'm almost positive that's her board. Big, giant, ridiculous, like, that's the good board. I like the longer board. I really do. I think that works well. And he's got his comic book. I'm on board with everybody else here saying that this is kind of a dumb gimmick. They gave us a little comic book. At least I can repurpose this. I could put this on J. Jonah Jameson's desk or put it in his hand and have him point at it and talk about how I don't see why they make such a big deal out about these heroes, these so-called heroes. They're vigilantes. This one isn't even an earthling, for crying out loud. Like, that's perfect for me. I'll make use of that stupid little book. Okay? There's at least a gimmick that I can play with. But I 100% agree with what everybody has said. Why? Like, why with the books? What are we doing with the books? But this dude is shiny. Otherwise, no real issues here. If I put this got to test how well this guy moves. We need him to go this way. So we want that leg to kind of come out or whatever. Maybe we'll do it this way. We'll put this here. No, I don't like that. Because of where this is, this foot pretty much is the foot on the back of the board, okay? And then he needs to basically run the distance. He needs to put this arm out. We'll change that to a straight here. Is it a paint? Is that a little less shiny on the... I don't know. Put that out. Kind of lean him down. Put this hand out. Drive the distance. Pull this one back. Put that foot forward. Simple. I'm not trying to do anything too crazy yet. I'm just trying to get him on the board looking cool. That's an in real time pose. That's a thing that I try to do. With a lot of these, I try to see if I could do an in real time, no, just good enough pose. I will then work on that and make something really, really nice. But like that for me, that's simple enough. He's got the hands that he needs. He's got a kind of a gripping hand. I don't know if you reach down, grab the board maybe. He's got two of these straight finger hands, and then he's got punches. He doesn't come with any of his powers or anything like that. He has the board. He's a Silver Surfer. That's the end of it. And if we do it right, he only has one real problem. He has the upper torso. He doesn't have a lower torso bend. So he does have a mild problem, and it's one that it's one that we'll get over. I don't think it's going to hold him back too much. I think that this will still work if we play around with him and whatnot. And he's super shiny. He basically fits everything I want him to be. His main flaw is that he has that movement this way, but he has no lower ab crunch. With a character like this, that may actually be a problem, because you want him to hit like crazy stances where he's literally riding, cosmic waves in space. This guy will not do that necessarily, but at the same time, nothing else about him is restricting. So I'm not saying you won't hit some real cool poses. I'm saying that that's the only part of it that will hold you back. Literally the only part of it that will hold you back. And that probably isn't really a problem, depending. Could you even get this look on the... You could probably even recreate this realistically if you wanted. There's nothing stopping you. That's not a good pose anyway. But yeah. Solid figure for what it's worth. Really is. Silver Surfer. Added to the collection. I'm happy with it for what it is. Okay. Let's do it. Gargantos. Shumagorath. I don't know exactly what happened. Something's going on with their licensing or something, and they're not allowed to call it that for some reason. That's what he is. That's what he is. Why do I want this? Aside from the fact that, look at it. Why do I want it? I don't have a history with Shumagorath. I don't have a mass interest in this character. I'm not a huge fan of Doctor Strange. So what is it? Why? I want to tell you my reason why I want it. Conan the Barbarian. I'm dead serious. That is the only reason I bought this thing. Conan the Barbarian. The second I saw this, the first thing that came to mind was how cool this would be fighting a barbarian. This is a Lovecraftian monster. Tentacles, a giant eye, something that lives under the earth that was never meant to be released, never meant to be discovered. This is like absolute right here. This is it. There are even specific stories. I wish I remembered the exact name of the story, but years ago in the comic book, there's even that story specifically where he gets thrown down into like a dungeon, specifically in like the waters and everything like that, and he ends up fighting this like thing that's forgotten. Then he climbs his way back up, and he ends up throwing the queen down there to literally be ate by her own monster thing that she was keeping in her dungeon. Like, that's what this thing reminds me of. Then I seen it, and I saw that you can move the eye, and I saw that it's like its whole like thing with all its tentacles and everything were actually all going to be wireframe, and I was like, this is too perfect. Like, this is exactly what I want. Like, you couldn't have done better. You are not doing barbarian figures at all. And yet you gave me pretty much the quintessential freakish monster for barbarian fighting. You couldn't have done better had you literally had the Conan license. And I realize this guy's not from Conan, but he is. You read enough of those comic books, trust me, he's in there. Just not him exactly, not by name, but he may as well be. Like some of the stuff that you fight, some of the stuff you see in those comics and everything, absolute otherworldly monstrosities, tentacles, the eyes, the weird gaping mouth things, like some of that stuff will haunt your dreams. And it's right here. They did it. That's the only reason I bought it. Conan the Barbarian. Let's open him. Okay, so now the only thing I really need to figure out I don't know that it's going to make a difference. So this one has like this wobble this way, and then the other one has just like a thing this way. And I'm not seeing, they're not showcasing anything here that makes me feel like these go on any specific way. That like there's an up or down. I think they're literally, as far as I could tell, even when they're different, they're still basically the exact same thing. And one could argue there's a bit of difference. I don't know if they intend this any specific way. And I don't see, like, he doesn't Are you any kind of directions? You are not. You're just a bunch of... There's not even directions. So, as far as I could tell, you just put them together. You just put them together. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I just wanted to be sure before I started doing this, because once this happens, this happens. So, we're going to do this one here. We're going to do this one here. And then we're going to do this one this way. And then we'll do this one here. That one here. And this one here. Oh, no. Give me the thing. Okay. This is ridiculous. Like... Look at this thing. That is unreal. See how he can give attitude, man. He can give attitude. He could be surprised. He can, I think you can move the eye even. Oh, yes, you can. He can just roll his eye like, ugh, come on. He can look down like, oh, no. He can literally look over there and be like, what exactly are you doing over there? This is crazy. This is incredibly simple. Like, very simple. But there is so much expression that is created by you being in control of this eye. That's unreal. That's incredibly simple. But that does so much. It is crazy to me. So, these move this way, and they turn, and so I don't think there's much that I'm not going to be able to do here. I'll move that up like that. I'll move this over like this. I'll put this. I'll move this back. I can literally turn these this way and then turn these inward. I can loop that around. There's almost nothing you're not going to be able to do with this guy. Like, and these are holding position too. They're not super restrictive. They hold position. This thing is cool. And it is huge. Because of that, there's not going to be any problem pitting him against something that in the Marvel Legends range, sure, okay? I probably shouldn't have picked her up. This guy looks like something. But at the same time, I shouldn't have any problem pitting him in a situation Hey, look. King Conan. I'm going to have no problems at all. No problems at all. That I will easily be able to work out something picture-wise. Look at the size of this thing. This is crazy. This is everything that you want it to be. Very simple. It's huge. It's multi-flexible. It has, like, The wireframe inside of here allows it to take whatever you want it to do in terms of its posing and things like that. The eye is ridiculously expressive. Everything from looking mad to looking annoyed to looking scared to looking surprised to looking confused. Like, this is cool. This is a very, very cool thing. This may literally be one of the coolest Marvel Legends I have ever seen. Ever. I didn't even buy it for the fact of Marvel, but it is undeniable what it is, like what it accomplishes. This thing is amazing. It's one of those things that I'm gonna fight with myself as to where it's actually gonna end up going. But I dropped my surfboard. When I do decide a place, it will probably, in all honesty, end up over with all the barbarians. I think that just makes the most sense. Yes, I could put it with all my Marvel Legends. It is a Marvel Legend, but like, it's going to be very rare that I do a bunch of pictures with Marvel Legends fighting it because, quite frankly, I bought it to fight Conans. I bought it to fight Gilius Thunderhead, Tyrus Flare, Red Sonja. Like, that's why he's here. And I don't know if I could be more pleased. This is almost to the point where you wish you had more than one. One is probably enough. I'll get plenty of pictures off of one. But, like, I mean, barbarians can fight too. Like, we'll see. We'll see if I ever have a reason to buy another, but he is unbelievably cool. All right, let me get through the last comments of the day, and we'll kind of bring this down to the end. So, no, he is, Bill. Compare him to pictures of the HasLab, the Walgreens, and the Hammer Silver Surfer. He's definitely the shiniest version. They've said this in several interviews. Cool. Well, I was wondering, like, I didn't keep up with the line enough to know that. When I seen him, I was like, this dude he's the shininess I want. Like, he's ridiculous, and I love that. So yeah, truth be told, had him and Farrell on pre-order, had to cancel due to way too many pre-orders at the moment. I understand that. So much stuff got pushed back and dropped early. December got screwed up. November got really messed up. I got a lot of stuff I was not supposed to get in November, and then a lot of stuff got pushed into December or dropped back into December. Stuff that I absolutely should not have had to have paid for now if Toys would maintain their street date. I've already got a couple of figures that were supposed to be out in January that drop now. And, like, why? I'm telling you guys. I know a couple people got mad when I said that. Like, I had a couple comments on videos where they were like, oh, you just don't understand, or blah, blah, blah. Or that surfboard fell down again. They said, I had one guy in there that was like, oh, you're making it sound like something that's not actually going on. Toys have street dates. And I'm like, no, they don't. Not like other collecting things do. No. When a movie is supposed to have a street date and it's supposed to come out, it pretty much comes out. When you're waiting on a video game and it says like November 15th, that's when it comes out. It doesn't randomly all the time get pushed back or moved forward. It is very rare. In fact, it's more rare for a toy to come out in the actual time in which it's claimed, because it's almost always early or almost late. It's too often that it happens. Not shiny enough. He needs to be as reflective as the Cobra Commander's mask. Dude, that would be too much. Hasbro has mood swings. They'll do something really cool, then completely omit it from the next version of that character. Guaranteed, we'll get the Ice Slide with Gamerverse Iceland or a deluxe. That would be cool. That would be cool. So apparently the name Shumagorath is not allowed by Disney or Disney Marvel, and owned by a company called Heroic Signatures. So it's a lot like Ninjor. Ninjor was originally owned by Motu, and then they lost it because there was no reason to re-up the name, and it ended up getting used by Power Rangers, and then Power Rangers owned it, and then until Power Rangers lost it, we didn't get it back in Motu. So now he's Ninjor again. So yeah, it's probably something like that. Bill, I don't think you can show that on YouTube. Keep your bedroom stuff in the bedroom. Conan has no problem fighting eldritch horrors. But when the Elephant Man shows up, he's crapping bricks. Strangely enough. But I will say, when he runs into Yagkasha, you're talking about very young Conan. And when he sees it, it chills him to the bone and opens up his mind to the fact that there are horrors in this life, in this world, that man cannot explain. Things that are above, things that are beyond. And you can either accept that, or you could be a fool about it. Some people deny its existence and end up dead because of it. Some people understand its existence and then fall prey to it in a different way. He just accepts it as a fact of the world. Monsters exist. And from that point on in his life, having that little bit of knowledge and understanding, even though he doesn't fully understand what Yagkasha is or what Yagkasha does, because that book ends in a kind of crazy way, he goes off into the world at that point knowing that the superstitions, the supernatural, the things, stories are not always stories. And it talks about that throughout the entirety of Conan's lineage, where it talks about his superstitious brain, where he knows that these things exist, so he doesn't put it past where he's like, that's just this or whatever, and then he goes and deals with it. Like, there are these moments with Conan where he freezes up because he knows about the horrors of the world in ways that other men have not discovered yet. But it's also because he had that experience that I've seen other books where something will happen, like a skeleton will stand up or something, and the other guys that are with him, they'll freeze. And for that moment of hesitation, they die. And it's only because he is aware of these things, he knows that these kinds of horrors exist, that he's already kind of mentally set himself, these things are going to happen. These things are out here. I will either respond or I will die. And some people have been with him and they have died because they do freeze up when they see horrors beyond their explanation, beyond their expectations, beyond explanation. And he doesn't. He is afraid of them. But he also knows he acts now or he acts never. And so that kind of follows him his entire life. And when he does end up fighting things like the eldritch horrors, he's more prepared for them because of that fateful moment when he met Yagkasha. That literally follows him through the entire lineage of Conan's life. It's very interesting. I think it might be one of the reasons why Tower of the Elephant often gets credited as being one of the best Conan narratives, because it shows him at a younger state when he was already very competent as a young man fighting other men. But when he encounters that and he freezes and you see that he is just a man and he's just encountered something that chills him to the absolute bone. If Yagkasha had been dangerous, Conan would be dead. Dead. He was lucky that he wasn't. Because that would have been the end of the books right there. It would have been done. I love Conan. I do. I have two absolute favorite fandoms. It's Conan, it's Star Trek. Always has been. Not saying there aren't others involved in there, that I don't stack others, because of course I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I love X-Men, I love Motu, but if I have to name the two that sit at the top that have followed me my whole life, it's Conan and Star Trek. Easily. It'd be interesting. I wonder if I could come up with a list like the 10 fandoms that have really been something for me my entire life, that have like never really left my life, that I've always been involved in them in one way or another. That would be interesting. That might be a video worth thinking about. But that's all. I'm going to be getting out of here. I actually, in a previous live, I talked about this stuff over here, and I talked about how I was having trouble remembering something specific, and I was like, oh, well, I think I just made my decision. Well, I did, and I have actually started watching. I chose my one for next year, when I'm just starting it now. I'm already 5 episodes into the original series. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is go knock out another 1 or 2 of those and go to sleep. Because of this. Because this says Mr. Spock, Star Trek, and this claimed, yeah, this is Spock from the Man Trap. Sorry, from the Cage. I apologize. This is Spock from the Cage. But when I opened the figure, I think it claimed that he was from the other pilot or something. I remember arguing as to what I remembered one way or another. He is in that weird, like, gold color, that beigey gold color. He's in that in Where No Man Has Gone Before. And he's in blue in The Cage. And then he's in blue for basically the rest of the series, aside from when he's not wearing the uniform at all and things like that. But anyways, look, thanks for hanging out. Always happy that people actually show up to these and do the votes and everything like that. I don't know if videos will stop as we near Christmas. I don't know how that's going to hit one way or another. I don't know what my availability is. My wife does Madrigal and stuff like that, so I tend to drive a lot to go to like practices and different things like that and keep things moving. And sometimes that will interfere with how much I upload or what I do here. And we'll just figure it out as it goes. Hey, Christmas is what it is. It gets a little complicated. But that's all. That's what I got. I may do a standalone video very soon, though, to open that Playmates Star Trek box set, because I have a project that I want to do, and I need that box open to start the project. But anyways, I'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging out. And remember, see you next Monday, and we will open more stuff.